Border officials see massive new surge at southern border. Okay, so what's going on? You know, oh, it's slowing down. Nope, the numbers are back up. Okay, so U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, sources reports a staggering search of 14,000 illegal immigrants at the southern border between Saturday and Friday, with the Tucson, Arizona sector alone witnessing 2,000 apprehensions, as highlighted by Fox News. The search follows a pattern observed since President Biden's inauguration with illegal borders. Okay, we already know all this other stuff, but I want to show you this. Go to that tweet, Rob. Go to that tweet if you could. So check this out. Strange trend at the southern border. Historically, 90% of apprehensions of undocumented immigrants at the southern border have been from Mexico. Historically, watch what's the first thing you said.
Mexico.
You said, look at that Mexican.
Yeah,
He's saying Trump, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You naturally thought
Mexican.
It's Mexico. The numbers from other countries has skyrocketed over the last couple of years. This should shock the hell out of you. Look at the numbers here, Rob. Pull up a little bit. Can you look at that number right there? Green is from Mexico. It's always since 99. Nearly 95%, 99% of all the apprehensions in 99, Mexicans. And then go to 2011, still Mexicans. Then all of a sudden it starts flipping. In 2019 under Trump, that's when Trump came out with the new border, and then everything changed and it dropped. But look at the last 2 years. This doesn't have the 2023 numbers. Look at the non-Mexicans from other countries.
Wow.
Look at the yellow. The yellow represents non-Mexicans crossing the border, apprehensions of undocumented immigrants. So the question would be, who are these people? Where are they coming from?
Do we have stats on what countries they've apprehended?
Well, if you think about it, it's China, it's African countries, and then, dude, there's from Iran, like the guy that they're looking for from the FBI, he's an Iranian terrorist.
Let's go with some straight up, those are the high level brushstrokes. Let's go to a couple finer ones, Vinny, and go to some startling facts. So, who did Castro send first when he realized that the Muriel boat lift was going to be allowed to
125 political prisoners he released to Miami, and the unemployment the next year went to 51%.
Political refugees.
Correct. So once when Castro realized that Carter was making a political human right argument, and it gave Castro the opportunity, he emptied his prisons. That is an absolute fact. We have record of it. Fact, ladies and gentlemen.
Under what president, Tom?
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter. That's right.
That's right.
AKA
now
Joe
then,
Biden.
Here's a fact. You have broad strokes, Vinny, and you're correct in those broad strokes, and the numbers
are going to...
Does he
have broad strokes?
Yeah, Tom.
He was painting there are Chinese or this. He's right.
Yeah,
it's far more than Mexicans. So check this out. This week, Venezuela is refusing deportation flights from the U.S. where we have identified criminals. We've stuck them on planes. We're sending them back, and now Venezuela is refusing to accept them. Wait a minute. Why are they doing that? Wait, I thought I sent your ass out of here. You're supposed to be in the United States. Venezuela is refusing deportation bikes that we are sending back there where we have identified hardened criminals are like, wait a minute, dude. There's no way in hell you should be here.
Wow. Can you imagine even Venezuela, a communistic country, with some of the worst inflation that's taking place there, is saying, no, we're not welcoming these criminals
And by the
here.
way, they walked through what country to get to Texas? Mexico. And Mexico has found them committing crimes in Mexico. Who else is sending them back? Take a look at that headline. Mexico is sending them back to Venezuela, saying, you're causing trouble in my country. Well, I'm just on a walk here going to the United States. I don't care. You're going back. And they're refusing that. Venezuela is refusing to take back its criminals that it is sending to the rest of the world. Thank you.
Wow.
Sort of a different perspective here, but along the same lines here. I think obviously what's going on at the border is a freaking disaster. And in my humble opinion, it's probably the number one reason that Biden is unelectable, aside from his age and senility. But
forget all that. Let's just look at his policies.
During COVID, we heard something quite often, and that was that we need to stop the curve because the system is overwhelmed. They're overwhelming the system. There's too many people in the hospital beds, the overwhelming systems. Everyone has to basically be a part of this. Stop the curve. Let's all come together. Stop the curve.
Flatten the curve.
Flatten the curve. Yeah. Stop the curve. Everything with that. Overwhelm the system. They've shocked the system. We heard these terms over and over and over and over again. So, well, to my friends on the open border policy left, guys, this is exactly what's going on at the border right now. The system is being overwhelmed, it's being flooded, and it's a freaking disaster. And, you know, I had a conversation with our friend, one of your top guys at PHP, who came from, you know, one of these countries legally. And I asked him quite, you know, bluntly, like, what percent of these people do you think are genuinely looking for asylum, but fleeing turmoil and gang warfare? How many people are these criminals? He's like, bro, it's 50-50. You know, a lot of them are escaping what's going on in El Salvador. We've seen what Bukele's done, or other countries right there. And a lot of them are just straight up understanding that there's open border policy. China is a unique situation because I saw an expose in a major outlet. He goes, why are the Chinese coming here? And I was like, all right, well, why are the Chinese coming here? Obviously, the obvious answer is like, well, she's sending them in to be a spy, which I'm sure there's some element of truth to that. But, you know, we talk about China a lot and their one-child policy. Do you know that there's 40 million men in China who have zero prospects of ever getting laid?
By the way, that's a very big stat you're giving right
Yeah, 40 million.
So I know you're going from the late part, but this is not about just getting
No,
laid.
I'm not saying about ever getting a woman.
No. So these are people that want to have families.
Yes.
That imagine. So just to kind of put it in perspective.
Yes.
Okay. It's like going to a club in Kentucky, and
Yeah.
the club is called Pickle Factory.
Yeah.
And not as if I've never been to a club in Kentucky called Pickle Factory. You know what it means? You know things are bad that even on Thursday night, ladies' night, 90% of the people at the club are men. That's a club called China. Is what he's talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's going on. So a lot of these people are basically fleeing the country because they have no prospects of getting a woman, starting a family, having children, anything like that. You know, as someone that worked in nightlife in South Beach for many years, well, I own a bar in South Beach.
Pickle Factory.
The Pickle
right.
Factory. Guys, Pickle
Sausage
Factory, we got 2-for-1 drinks, sex on the beach, all you want. But, you know, my number one rule, any nightlife entrepreneur, anyone who's throwing parties, there's one type of party we are not interested in, and that is a sausage party.
Yeah.
That is no good. Even when we
That's
did the
bad.
party at the
Yeah.
Soho House, I made every single person, including people who are part of Valuetainment, Vinny, Brady, I literally said, you cannot come unless you bring a female.
I brought a trans, but at least
Whatever
he
it counts
identified.
these days.
Don't come.
Exactly. Don't. We're gonna come. But it's exactly what's going on in China.
Yeah,
So there's some
Well,
there's some
again,
intricacies here of what's going on.
Why
But
is
ultimately,
that
the border's a mess.
everything that we talk about somehow goes to girls, nightclubs, you know, laid, like border. Adam is the only guy I know that can turn every story
Yeah.
into you.
Adam's
But
like,
it is
you know-
true.
Adam's like, you know what? Nuclear war's coming. Let me tell you something right now.
Here's why.
The missiles
The
and penis,
radiation
it's
is
gonna
making
come into
it-
the you know.
Yeah, the stem cells.
Yeah, the
situation
name of the bar that
yesterday.
it's going to
That's
hit
right.
is called Bottoms
Yeah.
Up.
Thank you,
because
Pat.
it's a game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By
All
the way,
right.
you guys can check me out at Pickle Factory tonight. I'll be out there.
Bottoms up.
Fantastic
Bottoms
club
up,
on Thursday
bottoms up.
nights.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.